Hey, this is Matt Boldy, and you're listening to Locked On Wild.
Hey, this is Marcus Foligno, and you're listening to Locked On Wild.
You're Locked On Wild, your daily podcast on the Minnesota Wild. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, with a big game coming up tomorrow night against the Dallas Stars, the most important show of the week is ready to rock. Denny, ready to go for a big show here tonight. Good evening, Denny.
Good evening to all, and welcome to What the Hell Are You Smoking? I want to start the show up by addressing the Olympics. I reached out to a few of my chess friends over in Italy and asked them if they could find out what's going on with it. And they came back with, they have no infrastructure, they have no roads, they have nothing going on as far as for building around it. They don't think it's going to get done, and that's a big problem. Now, if we all remember, in 2006, for the Olympics in Turin, they held the Olympic for the NHL, and the Turin Ice Gardens is still going strong. And I think the NHL really needs to think about changing the Turin. I think there's enough time to make the changes, because I'm sure they got stuff booked there. But I'm sure they can make arrangements for that. But according to my friends in the chess world, it's not happening. Italy has a lot of problems right now. And I'm not going to get into that side of it, but they do. And they don't think the building's going to be done. I mean, everything is screwed up. The ice sheet's 3 feet shorter than it should be. And I read on the contract that the players don't have to play if it's not at 200 feet. So you could see it happen, but instead of going through all that, they need to just go to Turin and play the Olympics there. If it was good enough in 2006, it's certainly good enough today. And that's for you, Billy. It only makes sense. All right, moving on. Oh, lost my speaker. Now, looking at the Wild, they're 11-2-2 in their last 15, which is excellent. Looking at how they're playing, I have number 8 in the power index, or the rankings, whatever you call it right now. But the road's going to go through Colorado, and of course Dallas. The Central is always the strongest league in NHL, has been for a few years now. So I've been looking at Colorado games to see, I haven't done Dallas yet, but I have looked at a couple of Colorado games to figure out something to help the Wild. And I'll tell you what Colorado does a lot of. And that's, they do the stretch pass a lot. That's why you see McKinnon always getting in on breaks. And when you got McCarr in the back bringing up the rear, it only makes sense. They get their defense very involved in the offense, and they rotate very well. So if you guys have any suggestions on how you would defend Colorado, let me know. I mean, the last game we played again was a great example. But in a 7-game series, that's not going to be good enough. It really isn't. Colorado's the best team I've seen in 50 years. The last time I saw a team this good was the 71 Boston Bruins, and before that, probably the 69 Montreal, where they only lost 9 games the whole year. And Boston lost 10 games in 71. That's how good they were. And they had some great players, and it really showed. But this year, it's all about going through Colorado and Dallas, too. I mean, Dallas is playing as many injuries that they've had, they are being remarkable. They're finding ways to win. Ottinger is holding down the fort. And when you think about it, can the Wild beat them? Yeah, we can. You know why? Because we have the best goalie tandem in the league. Defense always wins championships, or most of the time. But we need some top 6 players. And, they're talking about Sherwood. He's not a top 6 player at all. He's not going to help this team. And as you know, a long time ago, or a month ago, I put up my picks to help the team the best. Well, O'Reilly is still the best center out there. He's 57% on the dot this year. He's got 21 points. And he would certainly help this team in more ways than one. He's very versatile. He's won the cup with St. Louis. He knows what it takes. His cap hit is, quite good. And I really think we need to make a trade for him because he would solve a lot of our ills. And I also looked at one more. And that would be his partner, and that's Forsberg. Now, for Forsberg, his best year, he had 94 points. And then he got hurt. But you can expect at least 70, 75 points from him. His left wing has a really good shot. I mean, he's a lunch pail type of player. And what I mean by that is he comes to work and he does his job. He doesn't take time off. That's one thing I like about him. He'd be another one I would suggest because Nashville is they're going to bust up the team because they're in last place and for good reason. And I had a lot of people say, what about Stamkos? Well, what about him? He has no foot speed left. The reason he's playing the way he is because he can't keep up with the game today. Much like Tarasenko. When Billy signed him up, I'm not sure that they looked or had him try out or do anything. They just signed him. Well, as it shows, he's fallen far from the road. And with Tarasenko in the game, you can see the big difference in team speed. He slows down the team that much. And as Seth has said on earlier shows, doesn't matter what line he's on, it's just you can see a huge difference. And if they're going to put him in the top 6 again, oh my God. We're going to be in for a long 10-game stretch. We need to get Rossi and back right away. And I understand, I forgot where I heard it from, but he had a broken foot, and that's why he's out. Oh, I think maybe it was Judge Show. He said he had a broken foot. I don't know how I found that out, but that's what he said. We need Rossi back right away. And the last time I did the poll for the next 10 games, how many people got 7-2-1 right?
There were a few people that said 7-3, which is essentially the same thing.
Well, if you recall, I said 7-2-1.
Nailed it.
That. Yeah. And I don't know who you are, but I was talking to Seth about this earlier, and you keep calling me a hack, and I don't know anything about hockey. I'll have you on the show, and you can ask me anything you want about hockey, and I guarantee you I'll teach you something about hockey you didn't know. There's nothing about hockey I don't know. Really, that's the truth. I've been watching this game for 60 years. If you want to talk about short pass, long pass, any of the formations, I could tell you what's good, what's bad, how you beat them, how you don't beat them. It doesn't matter. So if you're man enough or woman enough to come on the show, I'll do it. Not a problem. Now, other than that, We should do a poll on the next 10 games. Don't you think? Don't you think, Seth?
100%.
Yeah, let's do a poll for the next 10 games. And I got the Wild going 6-4 this time, simply because of all the players out. And with Tarasenko in the top 6, which is most likely happening, that doesn't bode well for us. You know, there's only 2 players on the Wild that we can't lose, and that's Boldy and Kaprizov. Everybody else, you know, we've gone through a very nice stretch with a lot of injuries. But until we get those guys back, coming up, you know, we got Dallas coming up, and that's going to be a game changer for Billy to wake up that we need a top 6. Now, I have seen nothing about Tuck going anywhere yet, but I'm pretty sure Buffalo's trying to do something with Tuck, but I don't think Tuck wants to play there anymore. He's in his last year. He's my top choice besides O'Reilly. And we'll see, because, you know, I'm looking not just to make the playoffs, but to have a legitimate shot at winning the cup. To win the cup, number one, you got to have defense, which we have. You got to have the best goalies, which we have. All we need is a couple of pieces, and we have a real shot at winning the cup. And I've been waiting a long time. I mean, a really long time for Minnesota to win the Stanley Cup. And I just hope that you see what I see. At least one top 6, and if we had 2 top 6, then that would give us our top 9 would be very strong. And I just pray that you do something right, Billy. I don't think when you sign Mojo back up for even though it's a great contract, I don't believe that you would expect the production that he's given us so far. Not after 2 years with 22 goals. And I hope he keeps it up. I mean, you know, he's playing for a contract, and that's why I don't think he's going to let up. But we need 2 players, at least one. Please make it happen. I mean, I don't know how much time we got left, but I know it ain't that long. With that, do we have any questions or comments?
Yes. We've got a couple from KPR 4894, and I'm going to start with this one. Wants to know why everybody's talking about the Rossi trade rumor that happened this summer. How is that relevant to right now? I'll go ahead and clarify this one.
Okay.
The reason it's being rehashed is because of those conversations, because of the Kiefer Sherwood conversations, trying to figure out what Vancouver would be looking for, what they would want. And obviously the Wilds were offered the 15 pick, Arturs Silovs and Atu Ratti for Rossi this summer, and they said no.
Yeah, so, I'd pass on that too.
Yeah, that doesn't really do much for me. So go ahead. That's why it's being brought up, is we're just kind of rehashing those conversations that were had this past off season.
Well, you know, I looked at Vancouver today for a trading partner. And of course, you got Besser on there, and you got Elias Peterson. Besser's a -11 with 15 points. That's not the kind of player I want. He's not back checking. I mean, I haven't watched the game other than when we play him, but that shows you he's not back checking. He's a lazy player. He has been normally his whole career, really. He's had 1 year where he was a plus player. So I'd pass on Besser. He's now he's probably well fitted for a 3rd line role. And Elias Peterson is also a minus 11, which means he's not back checking. He's got, 20 points? He's 47% in the dot. That's not what you want for a number one center.
Also making $11.5 million.
I'm passing. There's actually nobody on Vancouver except for Hughes, which you're probably looking at 5 pieces to get Hughes, maybe 6, because when the bidding war starts, last man standing. So there's really nobody in Vancouver that I would even be interested in trading for. And when you look at what Chicago's doing and how they're doing it, and they're playing the kids, as Seth and Alex brought up earlier, they're playing the kids and letting them play. In 2 years, they're going to be a powerhouse. They're going to be hard to beat. Bedard is just becoming a superstar. I mean, that's his release on that shot. Jesus, that's a thing of beauty. Very few people have that quick a release. Kaprizov has a very quick release, and so does Boldy. But they're not close to that release. Oh, that's superstar stuff there. He's very gifted. And this is his 3rd year, so that's about average time for NHL players to really take off to figure out what they're doing. And they better not trade Rossi. This is his 3rd. Before he got hurt, he was projected for 76 points. I love Rossi. He does everything the right way. He doesn't take time off. He's a very good two-way player. Goes to the front of the net. He does what he's supposed to do. He's good passer. He's creative. And same with Urov. I'm glad they're letting Urov play because he wasn't good enough to start with the team, but look what has happened since they had to put him in. He grows every game. His two-way game is better than I thought it would be. He goes in and he sticks up for his players. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. He just keeps growing, and that's a good thing. You just got to let the kids play. And Guerin, the way he's playing right now, is like skating on eggs. He's so afraid of making a mistake, he forgot about playing hockey to make it fun. A lot of people holding the stick too tight. Absolutely he is. He's playing not to make a mistake instead of playing to win the game. And I think he's probably better served playing for another coach who will just let him loose, because I don't see Hynes doing that. Maybe. I would hope so, because he's got all the tools. He just doesn't have the confidence. And I don't see Hynes putting him in many positions where he can get the confidence. And that's a problem. So that's why I would use him in a trade piece for O'Reilly. Because really, I'm so high on getting O'Reilly. You can put him up and down the line. 57% face-off. We got a face-off and defensive end on the penalty kill. Who better than O'Reilly? 57%. Jesus. Just makes sense to me. More questions?
Does Trenyan deserve to keep his 3rd line spot? He's been playing electric lately.
Yeah, he's playing good. He's lost some weight. He's got much better foot speed now. He's playing hard. He's hitting like hell. I don't know if he's a 3rd line player, though. He doesn't have the skills. Well, what's his best goals? What do you have? Well, didn't he have 21 year?
12.
Or 12, yeah. Yeah, that's for a very good team. That's a 4th line player. But he'd be a very good 4th line player. And if you're using the role for just shutdown, that's fine. I mean, it all depends on how you construct your team. And right now, having him on the 3rd line for shutdown, he's doing a good job at it. I mean, I can't complain. I like what I see from him. And, and he goes out there and he tries. And I see some players who are not giving their 100% out there. And I'm not going to get into names or nothing because you probably already know who they are. But, yeah, he's pretty good. He's, he's playing pretty good. I don't know what else where else you set, definitely not a second. Third line's okay, I guess. Fourth line would be ideal because fourth line for him the matchups would favor him considerably. And that's really what you're looking for in the lines is matchups. But he's doing pretty good where he is at now. Next.
We'll go to this one from Sneaky Pete. I love Kaprizov, but I'm wondering if he's worth $17 million. You could have an entire second line for that.
I've been asked this a lot. Just think where it would be if we didn't have Kaprizov. Now, Kaprizov has not played his best hockey this year. You're going to see him take it to the next level here shortly. I'm not sure what's going on, but what you're seeing from Kaprizov right now is just very average hockey. When you're getting limited to 2-3 shots a game, there's something wrong there. He should be getting 6-8 shots a game, every game. And because we don't have the lines, every time he goes on an ice, they're double teaming him. And I don't know if you see that, but that's really what's happening. And they're trying to force passes. And if I was Coach Hynes right now, I would be double lining Kaprizov. He definitely can do it, especially in the third period. I'd have him playing with the first line, the second line, maybe even the fourth line. Anytime that you can get an advantage on another line is where I'd be putting them. Because, when you're only averaging 2-3 shots a game, that's terrible for first line. That shows you, what other teams think of us. They double team him and he has no space, can't get no passes. And that's not good. So they got to change it up. It's simple as that. And then another reason I would also do that with Boldy. I'd be double shifting him too. Changing him up when the maximum against other lines, when you watch the other team play in their lineups, you see where their weaknesses are, who's slower, who's faster, who cuts left better, who cuts right better. And you pick and choose, but it's a good thing to do. And, there are two best players by far. So we got to use them more than just going out on the first line or just going out on. Change it up. Put them out first, put them out third, put them out fourth. Doesn't matter. With them out there, you're a better team. Next.
I'll put it this way too. Jack Eichel's making $13.5 million this year. Mitch Marner's making 12. Mark Stone, where's he at? Mark Stone's making like 9. Kaprizov and Matt Boldy together are making 24. So that should help stomach it a little bit. 9.5 for Stone. Thank you, Urban. So 17 plus 7 next year, that's 24. And then if Eck is your top line center or Rossi, that's another 5. So your top line is roughly $30 million, which is that's pretty close to what everybody else is at.
Yep. We got such a good contract with Boldy that the Wild can pay $17 million for Kaprizov. And just look at it this way. Where would this team be without Kaprizov? Think about it. You have to
They'd be just waiting to get screwed by Gary Bettman out of Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, exactly. Cost $17 million to keep it. I'm glad they did it. You have not seen the best from Kaprizov this year yet, I guarantee you. He's going to take off. All players go through lulls in their career. And right now, Kaprizov is just playing very average. And I just explained to you some of the reasons why he's not playing up to his potential. But when you're double teamed constantly, it's hard to fight through that. And because we don't have enough players for other teams not to do it, it becomes a problem, as you see right now. I mean, how many open net goals does he have this year, Seth? Do you know?
3, I think.
3, yeah. Yeah. Kaprizov's going to take off. I'm not worried about it. And I can't wait for Rossi to get back. Oh, that's going to change the outlook of our team tremendously. Next question.
Let's go to this one from Jesse Gross, 4388. Can Tarasenko be bought out just to open the roster spot? So he has a modified no trade. He has an 8-team trade list. So he basically has the rest of the league is on his no trade list. He's got 8 teams that he would be willing to be traded to. The problem, who's gonna take on a guy who just really he's not performing well.
Now, his career is over. I mean, he's had a great career, but it's come to an end. The only thing I can see, you just have to cut him, terminate the contract, and say goodbye. Because, like Seth said, who wants him? Who would take him?
Yeah,
nobody. So the only thing
Mike,
you can do
I was told Michael Russo was kind of talking about that. He said basically what you would do is you put him on waivers, and if nobody claims him, you just tell him to go home.
Yep, exactly. Because that's where he's at. And after his stint in the top 6 ends, I think he'll be done. And hopefully they're going to give Ogren some breathing room, let the chains off him and let him play, and not have to be worried about going down to Iowa or making a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. Just because he's a rookie, it's more amplified, but every player makes mistakes. That's how goals are scored, because of a mistake. Hynes just has to let up on the kids. And I wanted to say, before Middleton got hurt, they started putting Middleton back with Faber, which was a good sign. So I give Hynes credit for that. And he's letting Zeke play now. Which brings me to, I'm sorry, folks, but, I write down all the stuff to talk about in the show and I forget about it. But here we go. I just remember this. Things that the Wild can do to be better. Coming up, I can see a lot of games going to overtime and to shootouts. And the way Hynes has them playing 3-on-3 is ridiculous. 3-on-3 is pond hockey. And you got to let them play this possession thing and don't lose possession. And, a lot of teams are doing that is ridiculous. They need to practice 3-on-3, have their routes and their plays set, and just practice it so they can't stop it. And another thing with the shootout, what I propose is this. The team should have a tournament, top 10 players, top 12, whatever you want to make it, and do a shootout contest and let these players show what they got for a shootout, and then let them practice a shot. Now, if you remember, Mikko Koivu had the forehand backhand flip, which was almost, you couldn't stop it hardly. Every player needs to have a shot that the goalie can't stop. And they need to practice it, because I can see a lot of games coming this way because we don't have a high scoring unit that would give us a big advantage. Now, I don't know what the fans think, but I'd like your input on, because I'm telling you right now, I see a lot of overtimes coming. And I really would hope that instead of playing a 3-on-3 possession, is play 3-on-3 pond hockey and just go after it. because they don't look very good on 3-3 right now. And that's by design. Hynes wants them to keep possession of the puck instead of just going for it. And when you're going for it, you got to practice 3-3 and get your shifts and, your crossovers and everything, so you know what's coming, so the other team can't stop it. I don't know what you guys have thought on that, but I'd like to hear.
Delay of game for anyone who takes the puck out of the offensive zone intentionally.
Yeah, give the puck up, period. It's ridiculous how they're playing the overtimes. It's not just the Wild. A lot of teams are doing that. And I don't understand it. I mean, 3-3 is pond hockey all day long. And that's where you should be seeing the best skating, shooting, passing. That's what it's all about. That's hockey. And they're taking that away from them. I don't get it. I don't understand that concept. But, yeah, you're right. I like it. Next.
Let's go to from Urban. When Rossi comes back, if he's legit, the scoring should be better, right?
Oh, absolutely. My pillows are sinking. Hold on here. Okay. Absolutely. Ross is going to be a great player. He really is. I have all the faith in him, and he hasn't let me down yet. When we first drafted him, back before I had my show, and I used to comment on Seth's show, I was his biggest fan. And when he came up, I went to 19 games with 1 point or something. He learned how to be an NHL player when he gained 15 pounds. And he's taken off since then. In today's game, for anybody who doesn't play in the NHL, learning the speed and the strength of the players in the NHL, there is none better. And you don't get to realize that until you get to play against them, and then you figure out, holy shit. Even in KHL, they can't come close to the speed and the strength of the players in the NHL. And that's the biggest thing about the NHL today. I mean, the game has evolved so much since the 70s and the 80s and even the 90s. And I used to watch the North Stars, and we had some great players on the North Stars, from Bobby Smith and Dino Ciccarelli and Neil Broaden and Tommy McCarthy. The game, we used to have a blue line, red line, blue line, and you had to pass between them, right? Well, now with just blue line, the game has just picked up the speed so much. It's not even comparable anymore. And I forgot what I was going to say. I'll think about it. I'm sorry. Just go on. Next question. I'm sorry.
Will any trade for a top 6 have to include Hartman going the other way to make the money work?
That's a good question. It might. I mean, I don't know. Billy hasn't said anything one way or another what he's doing. Right now, when he was on his show on K-Fan, he's talking about he's looking at players for the Olympic team. He didn't say anything about the Wild, really. Who knows what he's doing? I mean, I don't see any podcasters talking about the Wild and trades, which is a little concerning, but it really doesn't mean anything. So who knows what Billy's doing? I mean, he's not afraid to make a deal. That's the first thing I like. I just hope he makes the right one. And Sherwood is not, he's not going to help us at all. He's a bottom 6 grinder. A good one, but he's a bottom 6 grinder. We need a top 6 talent. We need help for Kaprizov. Really, that's the bottom line. When we can get the double team off Kaprizov, we're going to be a much better team because of it. And I hope, Billy, that you're listening, because I think you know that. And that's why, bar none, out of the 25 players that I've looked at now, it's actually up to about 30. O'Reilly is the best pick. Oh, and here's my new proposition for O'Reilly. A first, Ogren. Oh, I got it written down here. I already forgot. Sorry. Let's see here. I got all these damn notes and Ogren, Lambos, Tarasenko, and a fourth. So you're getting a first, a fourth, Ogren, Lambos for O'Reilly. I don't know what you fans think of it, but I saw where Montreal offered a first and I can't think of his name now, but a high-end player from Montreal, and they turned it down. It's going to take three pieces. I know that's overpaying, but that's how it works. Last man standing. Oh, geez, I wish I could think of his name. I told Seth a couple days ago on a text about it, but I can't remember his name now. I'm sorry. Yeah, my short-term memory is going to hell in a handbasket. Which brings me up to this. I am this week getting a laptop because, I do all this over my phone right now, which isn't ideal, but it's what I got to work with. I'm getting a laptop, and I've already bought the AI intelligence program, people. So my next 2.0 is coming up shortly. I mean, I've been talking to these guys for a couple of weeks, and they're pretty excited for what I have in store. And it will be no problem. If you look at all the AI now on the internet, on YouTube, and all the rest of the places, I hope you're impressed. I hope you like it because it's going to change the way podcasters do their shows after they see what I'm doing because it's really good. And I have the Hanson brothers heavily involved. Next question.
Here's an interesting one. Whoops. What do you think would have happened had Brock Besser signed here?
What would have happened?
Yeah.
Well, let me think about that for a second.
We wouldn't have had to go get Tarasenko.
Well, that's true. That's a good point.
That's for sure.
They didn't give up anything to get Tarasenko. A future choice is nothing. Especially with his play, they're not going to get anything for him either. But they took $4.5 million off Detroit's payroll, and I'm sure he's loving that.
And I'll say this about Tarasenko. If he was brought in because you weren't sure if Liam Ogren was, or if Danila Yurov was going to be able to handle a top six role, that's one thing. But we're at the point now where we have to say that the experiment has not worked.
Total failure.
It was a novel thought. I applaud the decision to not give up prospects for a guy and just take on cap space. That's preferable to trading prospects for a placeholder. But we have seen through the first 30 games of the season, Danila Yurov's just fine in a top six role.
Yeah, I love what I'm seeing from him. He just keeps growing. He's going to be a very good player for us for years to come. I'm most impressed by his two-way game. He's learned that he doesn't miss a beat out there. I like it. And the smarter he gets, the less ice he has to move because he'll be smarter reading the plays. He's going to be one hell of a player. And he's already a very good player. Next question.
Now there was a good one here. Let me find it. Here we go. From Sneaky Pete again. Once our centers come back, Yurov would be cool to see on the wing with Boldy and Eck.
No. Keep him at center. He's excelling at center. Why would you move him to the wing?
So
And
then
Rossi,
that moves into, do you move Eck down to third center when Rossi comes back?
absolutely. At the beginning of the season, I had Eck with Hartman and Foligno as our third line, or grief line point two is what I called it. That would be excellent. Then we would have three really strong lines. And now that Trennan has showed up to play and is playing well, that just makes our fourth line that much better. We would have a complete team then. Yeah, I like the looks of that. But I would not move you're off to the wing. He's a center. I mean, he played wing, but he excels at center. I mean, you could put him on the wing, but he's really a true center. And he's got to learn in the dot more. And as I brought up before, the Wild need to bring in a specialist to teach everybody how to take faceoffs because they're never any good at it. I brought this up last year. They still haven't done it, but they need to bring in somebody who knows the tricks of the trade. And they haven't done that, but hopefully someday they will, because we're not good in the dot at all. And I don't know what that's from because, there's always, when you're doing a face-off, you do it two ways. You go for the body or you go for the puck. And when you're going for the puck and you lose it, which we always do, mostly, well, then you got to teach them to take the body out and let the second player take the puck. And that's what I would teach our players right now, to do that, because if you take your opposing opponent out, then it's the next man up. And I think the Wild would be much better off doing that if you know what I'm talking about, because we're just not very good in the dot. And that's one way to cure the ill there. Next question.
Greg says, I'm afraid the Wild will lose big against Dallas. The Stars are very good. The Wild have a ton of injuries. Sound familiar?
Yeah. I was telling Seth before, I think Dallas is going to throttle us. Dallas is playing really good hockey. They have their top six is just as good as Colorado's, in my opinion. Maybe their top nine are as good as Colorado's, maybe a little better. They don't have Makar, though, and they don't have who I consider the best player in the game right now, and that's McKinnon. McKinnon's just a beast. He's on a whole nother level this year. As good as he was last year and years before, he's better now than he's ever been. And their style of play, as I was talking about before, they use a stretch pass a lot to cut him loose. And you see that all the time. He gets more breakaways than anybody because of it. And that's something we have to consider when we play him. Now, we played him. We shut him down pretty good. And that was a spectacular game. Best game I've seen the Wild play. God, I can't remember the last time I've seen a game that good. But over a 7-game series or a 5-game series, that's not going to happen. Well, we'll see. Yeah, but I expect Dallas to give us a real thumping.
I'm predicting the Wild will lose 13-1.
When you told me that earlier and today, I was laughing. I never thought you'd say, I don't see that happening.
Not a joke. Not a joke. Not a bit. I think they're going to just get annihilated.
Well, see, the one thing, who's goalie tomorrow?
They haven't released that yet. I would assume it'd be Jesper, but
well, if it's Jesper, there's no way they're getting 13. We have an excellent defense. We have the two best goalie. We have the best goalie tandem in the league. I don't care who you put them up against. And Jesper is a special talent. He really is. And you're only going to see him get better and better. He's human also. When he gave up those 4, 2 of those goals were not his fault at all. That's the way the game goes sometimes. But Jesper's he's a hell of a talent. and he's only getting better. And did I mention this earlier? When we go to the shootouts, the first thing I would do in practice, I would let everybody know that if shootout comes, Jesper's going in. It doesn't matter who's playing him, whether it's Jesper or Guspas, because he is so good in the shootouts. That's where he really excels. That's where you really see his talent come to life. He controls that area, and he's so quiet in the net. You know, and normally to beat a goalie, you got to make a move. He doesn't move. He doesn't move at all. If you don't make the move first, you're not getting nothing. You know, the shootouts that he's shown you, he's got nerves of steel, and that's very rare to see. I mean, he's just you're going to be lucky. You're lucky that you get to watch him from the beginning of his career till however long it lasts, because he's a very special talent. Next question.
Let's go to this one from Matthew. The Wild's shutdown D and goaltending never quite come to fruition in the playoffs. Playoff series are always high-scoring track meets, it seems. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it all depends on who's playing. I mean, injuries are such a big part of the game today. And it's not just us. Every team is going through huge injuries now. I've never seen injuries like the teams are having today. Excuse me. It was never like that back in the 80s or the 70s. I mean, they played hurt. But now it's just unbelievable how many people are getting hurt. I think a lot of that has to do with how they practice in the gym. You know, back then everybody was a 4-star sport. And they played basketball, they played football, they played hockey, they played baseball. Where now most of the hockey players, all they've done is played hockey. And I think that makes a big difference. I couldn't tell you why, but when you're just playing hockey, I think your muscles are conditioned a certain way. Whereas if you're playing all sports, your body conforms that way. Now, of course, that's just conjecture on my part, but all the injuries that we're getting today, I've never seen anything like it. Because they're not shooting a puck any harder today than they back in the 70s and 80s. Like I was telling you, everybody had 100-mile-an-hour slap shots back then. Nobody does now, but everybody's still getting hurt. I just don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Because now hockey players, you know, from the time they're little kids, all they do is play hockey instead of playing all sports. And I think that's the wrong approach. But who knows? What do you think, Seth?
Yeah, it's tough. I think this is a big point too, is the Wild get hurt because they barely ever practice. They didn't practice the entire road trip.
Well, there's two sides of that. Not practicing gives your body time to heal. And 30 games in, everybody's getting hurt. I mean, everybody's bruised up. You know, hockey's a tough game. It always has been, though. And letting them heal is letting them heal. So I can see the benefit of that. But on the other side, if you don't practice what you need to practice, well, it shows on the ice too. So, you know, it's a 50-50 deal. If it was me coaching the team, practice would be just for a specific thing, like the 3-on-3s or just the shootouts, practicing your shot, not because, you know, their defensive play is really good right now. I mean, they're boxing out. You don't see Bogle getting stiffed on the short side and leaving the man open anymore, which is a tribute to him, which is his biggest weakness. I haven't seen that at all this year from him. And, you know, Faber and Middleton and Spurgeon and Brodeen. That's a hell of a lineup. And Zeke William is growing by leaps and bounds. We really do. We got a really good, we have an elite defense once again. So for Dallas getting 13, yeah, if they get 3, and I told Seth a couple of weeks ago, if the Wild score 3 goals, they're going to win most games, just about all games, because our defense is that good now. And I have never said that about the Wild. If you only have to score 3 goals to win a game, that means you got a hell of a defensive team. And with Gus Bus and Wallstead, that's quite possible now. Next question.
If I were coaching the Wilds, it'd be a bag skate for 4 hours every day of the week. Start at 4 a.m., end at 8 a.m., then film session, then another bag skate, right up until the time that they had to start getting ready for the game.
What is a bag skate?
You just back and forth.
Okay.
Fast as you can.
Oh, that's kind of like Herbie's.
For 4 hours straight.
Oh, boy. Yeah, they'd have a lot of energy for the game then. Because I tell you, they'd take a beating out there.
They'd sure be conditioned, though.
Yeah.
Let's go to this one. If the playoffs started today, who would the Wild play? I
Dallas?
can tell you. Yes, they would play the Dallas Stars, and they would be the road team.
Well, I can tell you this much. With our goalies and defense, that's going to be one hell of a series. Defense wins championships. And if Kaprizov cuts loose, we have a very good chance of winning. Kaprizov's got to wake up. I'm not sure. I told you, they're double team every time he's going out on the ice now. And that's why, Billy, you got to make a deal. You have to make a deal for a top 6 player to lighten the load on Kaprizov. And that's all we need. We just need one really good top 6 player. Please do it. Next.
Any more talk of Artemi Panarin to the Minnesota Wild?
I haven't heard anything, but he's asking for more money than he used to, and his play is not. He's not the player he was. I mean, he's still a good player, but getting a raise at this point in his life, I don't see that happening. And of course, that's all posturing for your new contract, of course. But I think he was asking for 12. It's the last I read about him. That he was asking for 12, and New York said no way, which they shouldn't. At best, he's an $8, $9, $10 million player now. The older you get, the less foot speed you have, and that's speed is what counts in the NHL today. Speed and skill. And if you lose a little of it, then you're not worth as much as you used to be. That's just the way it works today. Next.
Let's go. Nate says, I know he's not available, but dream target is Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah, that's a dream. What else can you say? He'd be a nice addition, of course.
Yeah, then him and his brother could record that podcast here.
Yeah. Yeah, if it was up to me, Alex Tuck, Ryan O'Reilly, and Forsberg, and all 3 are available, and I would try to make a deal to get all 3 of them. We'd have one hell of a team then. I mean, one hell of a team. I don't care if we have to give up all our draft picks. If we got a shot to win the Stanley Cup, I'm in on it. Any more questions?
I think we're caught up. Ron says the only untradeable players should be Kirill, Boldy, Faber, Bouillon, and both goaltenders.
Yeah, I agree. Untouchables. Absolutely. You know, we have a very good, strong base. We just need a couple additions, as I've been saying all night for the last 6 months. We got a very strong base. You know, I'm hoping that Billy does something to give us a legitimate shot at the cup. I really do. Because we got the pieces. Defense wins championships. We got the goalies. We got the defense. Please, Billy, just give us an upgrade in the top 6. Then we'd have one hell of a team, and we could beat anybody there. Oh, my butt's really hurting tonight. I'm sorry. Any more questions?
Ron says he would like to see the Wild go after Robert Thomas.
Yeah, he's going to be available, it looks like, next year. I've seen a lot of talk about that. He would be a nice addition. Yeah. Who knows?
Here's one from me. If the St. Louis Blues continue to struggle, and if they make a reactionary move, get rid of Jim Montgomery, how quickly would you pull the trigger to replace John Hynes?
Well, I can tell you right now, I want to see Todd Nelson from the assistant coach for the Pittsburgh Penguins as our next head coach. I've been asking for him for a couple of years, as Seth knows, and most you fans out there know I've been talking about him for a couple of years now. And look what he has done in Pittsburgh already. Because he's an assistant coach, he will be available. And I would hope to God that they take him as our next head coach because he knows how to deal with the kids. And he's showing in Pittsburgh he knows how to deal with everybody. I mean, Pittsburgh, who thought they would be this good this year? That coaching change they made in Pittsburgh has turned out to be really transformed the team. It really has. And that's a big part because of Todd Nelson. Yeah. So I would really go after him. Anything else?
Nathan wants to know Mika Zibanejad. Should he be a target?
I don't think he's available, is he?
I would think he'd be a more last resort move for the Rangers. I'll put it this way. I would think it wouldn't be the Rangers looking to move him. It'd be him looking to move from the Rangers.
Exactly. The Rangers are in a precarious spot right now. I mean, one thing you'll notice about the NHL today, the worst teams are not that bad. They're almost just about everybody's close to 500. I mean, look at the San Jose Sharks. As an example, or Chicago. They're not bottom dwellers in the normal sense of the normal NHL. Teams of the parity is quite evident today. And the Rangers, they go on a hot streak, 4 or 5 games, they're right back in it. So who knows? I mean, the NHL wanted parity, and they certainly have got it. Anything else?
Kirill Marchenko. I think he's
who's he play for?
I think he's the Kings, if I am not mistaken.
I don't know who he is. I've heard his name before, but I couldn't tell anything about him. I'm sorry.
No, he's not the Kings. He's Columbus. He was the one. Let me see here. My computer is not cooperating. Kirill Marchenko, 25 years old, $3.85 million this year and next. He's 6'3", 201 pounds, 10 goals in 26 games. He's a wing.
How big is he again?
6'3",
Well, that's
200 pounds.
Yeah. Well, he's got good size. 10 goals he can shoot. Yeah, that'd be a good consideration. I haven't looked at Columbus at all for any trades. Actually, I'll take a look at it for next, because the deadline's coming up, so teams are going to start unloading here shortly. And when you look at Vancouver, Nashville, Buffalo, maybe New York. I mean, who knows with New York yet? There's going to be some players available that I've overlooked or haven't looked at yet. But bottom line is, there's nobody better for the Wild to get than O'Reilly. He's a center. He's a 50-point player. He's got a good cap hit. He's number one on the dot. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. He fits a lot of our needs, bottom line. And I would hope they at least try to make a deal for him. I really do. Anything else?
I think that's a good spot to call it.
Okay. Well, everybody, thank you so much for my rant and raving. And from the bottom of my heart, hope to see you next week. And thank you for watching the show. Bye-bye.